What do the giant monster-punching robots in Pacific Rim have to do with real science?
More than you might think. Needless to say, giant monster movies work just fine without dragging a bunch of real science into the equation.
And yet, one of the more fantastic sounding aspects of Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim has its roots in real research.
As this promotional video explains, the giant robotic monster punchers in this film are called Jaegers.
Not to be confused with Jaggers.
And in order to control a Jaeger, 2 human pilots have to link their brains in something called the drift. Each individual essentially becomes a hemisphere of the mechanical titan's brain.
The idea here is that no single human mind could handle such a complex cognitive load.
And if the whole memory melding thing gives the film's human characters something to do in between brawls, all the better, right?
Yet no matter how fantastic and plot-serving the drift seems, it actually lines up rather well with current research into neural synchronicity.
For starters, mind syncs aren't solely the domain of Star Trek.
Have you ever applauded a performance and found yourself falling into sync with everyone else till the applause itself becomes synchronized?
That's just one example of our brain's natural inclination to sync with those around us. We're social creatures after all, and even simple tasks require us to work in unison to avoid horrible, bloody workplace accidents.
But could we take a step further? Could we actually hook 2 brains together for a common task? Let's break down some of the experiments.
Back in 2008, a monkey named Eythor commanded a robot to walk via electrodes implanted in her brain. The electrodes monitored upwards of 300 neurons and predicted her leg movements with 90% accuracy.
And thanks to the recent work of Duke neuroscientist Miguel Nicolelis, we know that 2 rats can share brains and sync movements.
And soon humans may get in on the brain-bonded action as well, because this work points to a future in which powered, mind-reading exoskeletons provide disabled patients with the ability to walk again.
If we can do this with rats, it stands to reason we can do it with humans. In fact, a current University of Essex program aims to use brain-computer interface, or BCI technology, to allow 2 human pilots to control a virtual spaceship with their linked minds.
There's no memory sharing involved, but the plans call for both test subjects to wear sensor caps and focus on 8 directional cogs to move the ship. The idea here is that since the task of piloting a space vessel demands a great deal of concentration, you're better off throwing 2 cooperating brains at it.
Now, a single person with a joystick can outperform 2 people joined with BCI technology. But there's a tipping point. Link up enough brains and a single human with physical controls simply can't keep up.
So now imagine a future in which a dozen linked human brains command a spaceship, a corporation, or even a giant monster-bashing robot.
So what about you? Would you meld your mind with a coworker in order to perform a task? Or is that just a bit icky?
Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more mind-blowing videos.